What's up, guys? Welcome back to Daniel Talks Football right here on YouTube. I'm Daniel and we are back with another video. In this video we're going to be doing my Champions League predictions. I've got all of the groups in front of me, and with the Champions League group stages kicking off tomorrow as of you watching, I wanted to sit down and do a couple of predictions for you. Before we do get into the video, please make sure to like the video, comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel. Go and follow the TikTok and the Instagram, Daniel Talks Football, on both. Right, we'll start off with Group A. Now, I think Group A is one of the more interesting groups here. There's a lot of these groups I do think are fairly cut and dry, and you can tell the two groups that will qualify, third and fourth, bit of a toss-up. I think Group A is really, really interesting. Top of the table, top of the group, I've gone for Bayern Munich. That's an obvious one for me. I think Harry Kane will be the difference within this group, and I think they're gonna smash it, to be honest. I can easily see them picking up 14, 15 points, and yeah, I think they'll absolutely smash it. I think Bayern will dominate this group, and yeah, I think they'll finish top. Second, however, I've gone for Galatasaray. Now, I think they've made some excellent signings. I think Angelino, Sanchez, Mertens, Ndombele, Ziyech, Icardi, and even Wilfried Zaha, they're going to do well in this group, and some of those players are really, really top players. Do they gel together? Obviously, that's the big question. However, there's some big names, and these players are good players. Something like Angelino's shown that he can, do it. This was a player who played for Man City for a reason, by the way. Davinson Sanchez, didn't really work out at Spurs, but still he's a decent centre-back. Dries Mertens, an excellent addition to the attack, as well as people like Ziyech, Icardi and Zaha. I think they're going to do really, really well, Galatasaray, and I think they're going to finish second, which leads Manchester United going into the Europa League, finishing third in Group A. I just don't think things are well at United. I can see Ten Hag getting sacked, to be honest, before the group stage is through. I don't think that would be a good decision, because I do think he is a good manager. However, things just simply are not right at the Red Devils at the moment. We've all seen the Mason Greenwood situation, how that's sort of having a massive, massive impact on this football club. You've got Anthony. Sorry, I've got hiccups. You've got Anthony and whatever's going on there. This bloke has also been suspended. You've got... Is there another situation that I'm forgetting? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. You've got the Harry Maguire situation, of course, and God knows what's going on with that. Manchester United are a mess, and Ten Hag doesn't seem to have this under control. I think they'll finish third. I think they will do poorly. And then last but not least, in fourth place, I've gone for FC Copenhagen. I just think they're a bit underwhelming. I've had a look through that squad, and nothing really inspires me. I think Bardghji, he looks like a real talent now. I think he could still show, only 17 years of age, and he is a good right winger. However, bar that, I'm not really seeing much in this group, and I don't think they will qualify. I think they will finish bottom of the group, and I think Copenhagen will be the first team to leave the Champions League. Moving on into Group B, and in first place, I've gone for Arsenal. Though this is another really intense group, and I think again it's a toss-up between sort of second, third, and fourth. However, first I've gone for Arsenal. I think Arteta's got this side playing a really, really good brand of football, and I think they're going to storm this group, to be honest. I look at the other sides in there, Lens, Sevilla and PSV. I don't think many of them or any of them are at the same level as Arsenal. You look at Arsenal's squad depth and little things like this. Yes, they're going to be competing for the league this year, but I also think they can compete in the Champions League. It's a very good squad with a lot of squad depth, and then I think they'll easily do well. I'm going to put them top, and they'll do well. Moving on into second place, and I've gone for RC Lens. Now, it's a toss-up between, them, Sevilla and PSV for this second place. However, I think after last season's, really good season for Lens, and the first time for them ever being in the Champions League, at least I'm pretty sure that's the case. I don't remember them being in the Champions League anyway, so if they have, I do apologise, but I don't remember it, so it's clearly something that doesn't happen that regular. I think that good feeling will be enough to sort of push them over the edge in this group and get them through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. I think Wahi is a good signing, even with his sort of alleged dodgy past. I think it's alleged. Maybe it's confirmed. Got to say alleged just to cover myself, just in case. But I still think this Lens side is really, really, really good. And I think they'll do well, and I think they'll finish second. In third place, I've gone for Sevilla. Now, I still think there's a lot of talent in that squad, regardless of how poorly they are performing in the league at the moment. The reason I put them third is one simple reason. Sevilla are the Europa League kings. Sevilla are the Europa League kings, and we all know this. We all know how good Sevilla are in that competition. They're not playing well as a club at the moment, and it would not surprise me actually to see them again in a relegation battle in La Liga. It would shock me if they were to get relegated. However, the owner situation isn't good there. The owner situation isn't good at any of the 777 sort of ownership groups clubs, and that's obviously away for Everton, who they are going to take over when that's official. Depending on when that is official, I'm probably going to do a video on that. I think there's a lot of talent in that squad, and I think they'll get third. And then last but not least, I've gone for PSV. I think they've got some good players, but it's a new squad. You know, you looked at some of the key players they've sold. They've lost Madueke and Sangare. They're sort of two key players from, you know, Madueke went in January and then Sangare went in the summer to Nottingham Forest. They've lost some key players and some good players at that as well. I just don't think this sort of new side will gel, and I think they will finish dead last. Moving on to Group C, and top of the group, I've gone for Real Madrid. Just utter class. They'll be one of the favourites for the competition. They'll easily win this group. Jude Bellingham, what a player. And yeah, Real Madrid easily top. There's not really much needs to be said. And there's not really much that needs to be said for this group full stop, really, because I think it's quite cut and dry once again. Second place, I've gone for Napoli. You've obviously got Kvaradona, or to give you the full name, Kavica Kvaradona Kvaratskhelia, and Victor Osimhen. These are two top players, and two players that will do well for Napoli here. I think they'll cause Real Madrid some troubles when they go to the Santiago Bernabeu. I know they're not back there yet, but we'll say that anyway. They'll cause them some issues when they go to Real Madrid's home stadium. And I could see them actually beating Real Madrid at home, to be honest. However, they're not going to win the group, I think. I think Real Madrid will be winning this group, and I think Napoli will come second. Kvaradona and Osimhen, the difference between the next two sides, Union Berlin and Braga, but not quite at Real Madrid's level. They've got a lot of good players, though, Napoli, and yeah, I think they'll do well, even after losing so many key players from last season, like Kim Min-jae. Moving on into third, and I've gone for Union Berlin now. It's going to be their first time in the Champions League. However, I do think they'll be dropping into the Europa League. I just don't see enough quality in that group, in that side, to be able to overcome Napoli. I think it's a good squad, and they've got a good manager, and obviously last year they were compact to be able to get into these Champions League places. However, I just don't think they've got enough to qualify. And then, yeah, last but not least, in fourth place, I've gone for Braga. Moutinho's back, but I just don't think it'll be enough. I think they'll finish fourth, and I think it'll be quite an underwhelming campaign for Braga. Moving on into Group D now, and first place, I've gone for Inter Milan. Now, this was a toss-up. I was between sort of Inter Milan and Benfica for this top spot. However, I think with those attacking options of Thuram, Martinez, Sanchez and Arnautovic, I think they'll blow this group away, to be honest. I know there's a couple of older players, well, bar Martinez, of course, but Sanchez and Thuram, well, Thuram's quite young, a little bit younger as well. Sanchez and Arnautovic are good at experience, and Thuram and Martinez are at a good age now where they can show that they can perform for this Inter Milan side. Barella is top quality in that midfield, and it really would not surprise me to see him get a move away possibly the next summer from Inter. I'm surprised he didn't this summer, to be honest. I thought Man City would be all over that deal, or maybe somebody like Manchester United, but they clearly went for other people, and apparently he's only valued at 50-60 million. So I think Barella will be moving on soon because I think he is top quality. I think Inter will top this group, and I think they will do well this year in the Champions League. Moving on into second place, and I've gone for Benfica, as I said. Di Maria's obviously joined the Portuguese side, and I think he will do well here. He's going to show, I think, what everyone's forgotten he can do at his spell at PSG. Obviously, you know, a lot of players do underwhelm at PSG simply because of the nature of that club. However, I think when he eventually retires, I presume it probably will be at Benfica, and I think he'll go out with a bang. I think he's going to do really well at Benfica, and yeah, I think Benfica will get second in this group. Moving on into third, and I've gone for RB Salzburg. Now, they've got some future star talent in the likes of Sucic, Kjærgaard, Gorna Duath, Kameri and Glauc. However, I just don't think there's enough for the here and now, and obviously all those players are midfield as well, so I don't see where the goals are going to come from. And I just don't think they're a better side than Benfica. I think they will get Europa League football. And last but not least, I've gone for Real Sociedad. I think the signings of people like Tierney, Odriozola and Silva, those aren't all new signings. Players like Tierney, Odriozola and Silva are all good players, and I think Zakharkian is a great player for the future. But I think it's a bit too soon for this Sociedad side, and I think they will finish in last place. Right, moving on to Group E now, and we've got 4 groups left. Top of the group, I've gone for Atletico Madrid. Now, I do think this will still be a poor year for Atletico Madrid in general. However, I do think they'll top this group. I don't think it's a very strong group with Lazio, Feyenoord and Celtic in there. Atletico Madrid would be weak, and if I were to put them in, you know, amongst a lot of these other groups, they would not qualify for me. If I were to put them into Group G, they wouldn't qualify. I'd put them into, maybe they would qualify in Group H. Group D, I don't think they'd qualify. They won't qualify in Group C. They won't qualify in Group B, for me, to be honest, or even Group A. However, they will qualify out of Group E. I think they're the strongest side in there, even with, you know, not the strongest group of players in the world. Simeone is possibly starting to burn his way out of Letty. I'm not saying he's going to go this season, but I think soon enough he will be gone. But yeah, I think they will still finish top of the group. Lazio I've gone for in second. It was a good year for Lazio last season, finishing in second place. They brought in some really, really good players last summer. I think they'll do well. And yeah, there's not really much that needs to be said. I'd say this is a fairly cut and dry group. Moving into third place, I've gone for Feyenoord. They've still got Arne Slot, and I think that's a massive, massive plus for this side. They've got some good players in there as well, of course. However, I don't think they'll quite be able to best one of Lazio or Atletico Madrid, and I think will be third place. And then, last but not least, out of Group E, fourth place, I've gone for Celtic. Just no. Who do they have in charge? The man who bloody ruined my football club. Brendan Rodgers. I don't want to have to edit this, so I'm going to... But, yeah. That says all you need to know. Right, moving on into Group F now, and this is a really, really difficult group between PSG, Dortmund, AC Milan and Newcastle. Top of the group, I've gone for PSG. Now, this will be a very tight group, as I've said, and I think it's probably the best group out of them all. PSG are great, and while they might lack that team chemistry that some of these other sides have, I think they'll still win this group. I don't think it'll be easy for them, however, they do have star talent in this side, and they're sort of starting to change up their tactics, doing things. The signings of people like Gonzalo Ramos, Ousmane Dembele. I know he's not off to a good start. 0 goals and 0 assists in 6 games. I'm sensing a 007 coming up here. But I do think PSG will win this group and win it fairly well as well. It'll be difficult, and there'll be a couple of points in it, but I think all these sides will do well, and yeah, I think PSG will top it. In second, now this was a really, really difficult one, because in theory, if I put most of these other sides and most of these other groups, they all go through second or even top. And second, however, I have gone for Borussia Dortmund. They don't have any Bellingham now. However, after looking at the side, I do think it's still a good side. You're hoping people like Moukoko can start to sort of come on, people like Bruno Gittins as well. Hoping these players can start to come through and really show what they can do. Yes, they'll be worse without Bellingham, of course they'll be, but they'll still be completely fine. And then in third place, I've gone for AC Milan. Now, Rafael Leao is an excellent player, and I rate him so highly. However, I think the rest of that team just isn't quite up to that standard of Dortmund's. I had a look at them side by side, and I'm just tipping Dortmund just to qualify. So for me, AC Milan down to the Europa League. And then Newcastle United, I don't think will be qualifying. I think this has come a little bit too soon for Newcastle. And while, yeah, if I were to put them into a lot of other groups in this list, they would easily qualify. I think the group's been difficult on them. However, some of those fans will enjoy some excellent away trips to places like Milan and Paris. And yeah, the fans will enjoy it, but I think it will be bottom of the group. 2 groups left now. We start off with Group H. Now, top of Group H, I've gone for Man City. Again, it's a bit like Real Madrid. They'll easily win this group. There's no debate about it. They're one of the favourites for the competition. They'll win the group. Second place, I've gone for RB Leipzig. Now, they've got some good players, and I think Xavi Simons is a really, really good pickup. To actually get him in on loan from PSG, yes, it's only a year. Yes, he'll only be able to help you out for that year, because then he'll probably get back to PSG and star for them. However, he's a really, really good player, and that's an excellent pickup. I think they'll get second, and I think they'll do quite well. Third, I've gone for Young Boys. I think they've got some half-decent players in there. However, it just won't be enough to tip Leipzig, because Young Boys would never beat Leipzig, surely. And then in fourth, I've gone for Crvena Zvezda. Who? No offence. But who? Moving on to Group H now, and this is the final group of the video. Top of the group, I've gone for Barcelona. Another Xavi, not Xavi Simons this time, just Xavi. He's got this side flying, and I think they'll do really, really well. I think it's quite an easy group for Barca as well, and yeah, I could see them topping this with, again, 14, 15 points, really. Second, I've gone for Porto Verona and Evan Nilsson. I think we'll strike up a good partnership, and I think Porto will do quite well this year. I like that Porto side. I've had a look there. I think Portuguese football in general is starting to become a lot stronger, and that Porto side is a good group. So yeah, I think they'll get is a good group of players. So I think they'll get second. Third, I've gone for Shakhtar Donetsk. I think they'll do well, and they'll get into that Europa League. I think Traore is a decentish player, and the little bits I know he came through Ajax, Lassina Traore, and he's supposedly good. So maybe, but yeah, I think Shakhtar Donetsk will get third, and then Antwerp will get bottom. There's just no star quality in that side, and they'll be a bit meh, to be honest. So yeah, there we go. There are my Champions League predictions. Hope you have enjoyed them. If you have, make sure to smash a like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, all of that, and I'll catch you all again in the next video. See ya.